Have you ever been in a connection that seemed good on the surface? He texted you. He smiled. He stayed in touch, but deep down something felt uncertain. You couldn't quite explain it. He didn't say anything wrong, and yet you found yourself wondering, does he really mean this? Is he truly into me, or am I just someone to pass the time with? You're not looking for drama. You're not asking for too much. You just want to feel secure, seen, wanted, not occasionally, not conditionally, but genuinely. The thing is, when a man truly wants you, you won't have to keep asking yourself that question. His actions will answer it for you, and the answer will feel like peace, not confusion. Some men will make you feel special one moment, then leave you questioning everything the next. They don't necessarily do anything obviously wrong, but they leave you in a gray space, a place where you're constantly reading between the lines, replaying conversations, wondering what it all means. But when a man truly wants you, things feel different. He's not perfect, but his behavior carries a kind of steady intention, a quiet clarity that says, I choose you, and I know what I'm doing. And that kind of energy, grounded, consistent, real, isn't shown in grand gestures or poetic promises. It shows up in the small things, the consistent things, the unmistakably clear things. Real love, after all, is rarely loud. It's steady, it's patient, and it often shows up in three very specific ways. 1. He invests in you consistently. 2. He doesn't leave you guessing. And 3. You feel safe being your true self around him. Let's start with the first. A man who truly wants you will invest in you, not just with money, but with time, with energy, with presence. He remembers the little things you said in passing. He notices when you change your hair. He checks in on your day, not because he has to, but because he genuinely wants to know how you are. You don't have to initiate every conversation. You don't have to wonder if he forgot you exist. You are on his mind, and his actions make that clear consistently, not just when it's convenient. In his world, you're not optional. You're a clear choice. Second, he doesn't make you guess. You're not stuck wondering where you stand. You don't find yourself decoding mixed signals or asking friends, do you think he still likes me? A man who truly wants you brings clarity. You know when he's available. You know when he's into you. And even when life gets messy or he has something on his mind, he doesn't disappear. He communicates even if it's imperfectly. He chooses to keep the line open instead of vanishing and leaving you to spiral in silence. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, when you're with him, you feel like you can be yourself. Not the filtered version, not the cool girl version, just you. You don't feel like you have to tone yourself down to be accepted. You don't have to walk on eggshells wondering if being too emotional, too quiet, too passionate, too soft will push him away. You don't have to sacrifice your truth to keep his interest. Because a man who truly wants you wants all of you, the vulnerable, the soft, the messy, the raw. He doesn't want the edited version of you. He wants the real thing. And when you feel that kind of acceptance, you stop performing, you stop proving, you start breathing again. So ask yourself this gently but honestly. Do you feel like you can just be with the man you're thinking of right now? Or do you feel like you have to constantly manage yourself to keep his attention? If it's the second, it's okay. This isn't about blame. It's about clarity. And clarity is the first step toward choosing something better. Because the love you're looking for, it's not found in confusion. It's found in consistency, in softness, in presence, in a man who makes you feel safe being exactly who you are. The first and most telling sign that a man truly wants you is that he invests. Not just in the beginning, not just when things are new and exciting, but consistently, gently, with presence. And the kind of investment we're talking about isn't just about expensive gifts or grand gestures. It's the kind that whispers, "You matter to me." It's time, it's attention, it's effort, it's presence that doesn't ask for anything in return. When a man truly wants you, you don't feel like you're pulling teeth just to get a reply. You don't feel like you have to compete with his phone, his work, his mood swings, or his ego. You don't feel like a background tab in his life. You feel like a priority, not because he says you are, but because he acts like you are. Think about this for a second. When someone really wants something, a dream job, a once-in-a-lifetime trip, a career goal, they move toward it. They don't forget it. They don't get busy. They remember the details. They plan around it. They make space. Real desire creates momentum. And the same is true in relationships. If a man truly wants you, you will feel his energy moving toward you, not away. You will feel him making time even when life is full. You'll feel him listening, not just hearing words, but taking them in. You'll see him remembering the little things: your favorite drink, how your voice changes when you're tired, the name of your dog, the story you told once and thought he forgot. He doesn't just hear, he stores. Because when a man is emotionally invested, his memory sharpens around you. His attention narrows. He becomes, in quiet ways, present. And here's something that might surprise you. Men don't always verbalize this effort. They might not say, "Hey, I'm investing in you emotionally right now," but their behavior will tell you. You'll notice it in how he responds when you need something, how he supports you without being asked, how he checks in, not out of obligation, but because he genuinely wants to know how your day was, how he doesn't disappear when things get real, but shows up even more. It's in the way he makes space for your voice, your thoughts, your stories, and yes, even your silence. And that brings us to something many women overlook: the difference between attention and investment. Attention can be thrilling. It can feel like chemistry, like sparks, like adrenaline. But attention can also be fleeting, conditional, temporary. Investment, on the other hand, is steady. It's not about how intensely he wants you for a night. It's about how consistently he chooses you over time. It's how he shows up on a Wednesday evening after a long day. It's the way he includes you in his plans, not because he has to, but because life makes more sense when you're in it. Now let's be honest. We live in a world where fast connections are everywhere. Messages get sent in seconds. People swipe left and right like love is just another algorithm. So when a man slows down, to listen, to learn, to invest, it's rare. And it's valuable. And you deserve to recognize it. You also deserve to recognize when it's not there. Because if you're constantly the one initiating conversations, making plans, holding the emotional weight of the relationship, if you're the one remembering birthdays, asking how he feels, adjusting your needs to keep him interested, then pause. Ask yourself, is he truly investing in me? Or am I carrying the illusion of connection on my own shoulders? A man who wants you will not leave all the emotional labor to you. He may not always get it right. He might not be poetic or emotionally fluent. But he will try. He will care. He will move toward you again and again in small but meaningful ways. And perhaps more importantly, he will not make you feel like you're too much for needing that effort. He won't punish your desire to be met halfway. He won't shame you for wanting consistency. A man who truly wants you welcomes the opportunity to invest because for him it's not a chore. It's a choice and a joy. So if you're listening to this right now, and a quiet part of you is realizing that you've been overcompensating, that you've been loving on behalf of two people, take a breath. You're not wrong for loving deeply. But you're also not wrong for wanting to be loved in return, with care, with presence, with effort. You're not hard to love. You're not asking for too much. You're asking for something real. And real love invests, not once, not when it's easy, but steadily, quietly, over time. Because love isn't just how someone feels about you, it's how they show up for you. And when a man truly wants you, he will show up. Let me tell you a story. Her name was Anna. She was kind, thoughtful, and quietly strong, the type of woman who always remembered birthdays, who listened with both ears and her heart, who gave love in the little ways that often go unnoticed. And for a while she was with someone who made her laugh, who flirted well, who said all the right things. It wasn't fireworks, but it was familiar, comfortable, easy to fall into. At first he texted often, called when he said he would, made vague promises about future plans, trips they could take, places they might go. But time passed, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to change. The messages got shorter. The calls became rare. The plans were someday never Saturday. And Anna, being who she was, tried to fill in the silence. She gave more, reached out first, made excuses for his distance, told herself he was busy, told her friends she wasn't worried. But she was, because deep down she could feel it. The shift, the quiet slipping away, the difference between someone who's holding your hand and someone who's letting it go while you pretend not to notice. One night, lying in bed with her phone beside her, she stared at the screen. He hadn't messaged all day, and she realized she wasn't waiting for a message. She was waiting for proof. Proof that she mattered. Proof that she was still on his mind. Proof that this connection wasn't just something convenient for him. And in that moment, something inside her softened and then strengthened. Because love, she realized, should never feel like a question you have to keep asking. A few weeks later, Anna met someone new. She wasn't trying to. It just happened. He was quieter, less flashy, but his presence felt like something she hadn't known she needed clarity. He didn't leave her wondering. He didn't show up when it was convenient. He showed up fully, attentively, and consistently. He didn't sweep her off her feet. He sat beside her. He asked questions. He remembered the answers. He followed through. And slowly, Anna began to understand what it meant to be loved in a way that didn't need proving, a way that didn't spike her anxiety, didn't play with her mind, didn't make her shrink to fit into his schedule. She was loved as she was, as she had always deserved to be. And here's the thing. She didn't hate the man who couldn't give her that. She just stopped trying to get it from him. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop chasing closure from the person who keeps you confused, and instead give yourself permission to believe what their actions have been trying to say all along. Anna's awakening wasn't loud. It didn't come with a dramatic ending or a grand goodbye. It came in a quiet, knowing one that said, I deserve a love that feels like peace, not proof. So do you. The second sign that a man truly wants you is simple but powerful. He doesn't leave you guessing. You don't have to decode his words. You don't need to reread conversations to figure out what he meant. You're not lying awake wondering if the silence means he's losing interest or if he's just busy. His presence doesn't confuse you. It reassures you. We live in a world where mixed signals have become the norm. A text one day, nothing the next. A compliment followed by coldness. Intense attention at the beginning, then emotional distance once you start to care. And somewhere along the way, we've been conditioned to believe this push and pull is passion. That uncertainty is part of the thrill. That being kept slightly anxious somehow means we're hooked, and that means it must be love. But that's not love. That's emotional inconsistency, and emotional inconsistency creates emotional exhaustion. When a man truly wants you, his energy doesn't shift like the weather. He doesn't disappear when things get too real. He doesn't use silence as a tool to control your attention. He doesn't breadcrumb you with just enough affection to keep you hanging on, but never enough to feel safe. He shows up, and he does so in a way that says, you can relax here. You don't have to live in your head when you're with him. You're not strategizing your next move, timing your replies, or wondering if being honest will scare him off. You get to be present. You get to be calm. And that calmness, it's not boring. It's healthy. Let's be clear. Consistency doesn't mean he's glued to his phone 24/7. It doesn't mean he never misses a message or forgets something now and then. It means that you feel emotionally safe with him, that his intentions are clear even when life gets busy, that even if the day is chaotic, you know where you stand with him. You're not holding your breath. You're breathing normally, and that's rare and beautiful. Some women are so used to chaos that peace feels unfamiliar. We mistake stillness for a lack of passion. We crave drama because we've equated it with care. But love, true love, is not loud. It doesn't knock you off your feet. It grounds you. It gives you something to stand on. And a man who wants you will not toy with your clarity. He will not keep you confused just to feel in control. That kind of behavior, pulling away to get attention, going cold after intimacy, making you feel like you're always one mistake away from losing him, that's not romantic. That's manipulation. Here's a truth we don't hear enough if you're constantly guessing that is your answer. When a man is into you, you won't have to chase his words for meaning. His actions will speak with volume. He won't hide his feelings behind sarcasm or flakiness. He won't need you to be a mind reader. He'll tell you what he's feeling, or at the very least he won't punish you for asking. Sometimes a woman asks, but what if he's just shy or bad at texting or emotionally unavailable because of his past? And those things can be true. People are complex. Trauma exists. Communication styles vary. But here's what matters. Even shy, wounded, or quiet men can be clear when they truly care. Effort looks different for everyone, but effort is always recognizable. It might be him reaching out in his own way. It might be him making space for your emotions, even if he doesn't know what to say. It might be him showing up physically when words fail. But he will not leave you emotionally starving while asking you to understand why he's just like this. Because love that requires you to abandon yourself for crumbs of connection is not love. It's survival. You deserve someone who holds your heart like it's real, like it's valuable, like it's fragile and powerful all at once. And that kind of man. He won't be perfect. He won't always say the right thing. But he'll be consistent in one thing. You won't have to wonder if he's coming back tomorrow. You'll know. You'll feel it in how he responds, in how he listens, in how he doesn't just show up when it's convenient, but also when it's inconvenient on bad days, long weeks, tired nights. And most of all, you'll feel it in how your nervous system settles around him. You'll notice how you start trusting your instincts again, how your inner voice isn't panicking or overanalyzing, how you stop rereading texts to find reassurance because reassurance is already there in his presence, in his steadiness, in the absence of confusion. So ask yourself, do I feel emotionally safe with him? Or do I feel like I'm always walking on the edge of something I can't name? If it's the latter, take heart. Because the love you deserve isn't hiding behind puzzles. It doesn't need you to be low maintenance to keep it around. It's clear, it's calm, it's consistent. And the man who truly wants you won't leave you guessing. So why does clarity feel so rare these days? Why do some men keep you guessing while others give you peace without even trying? The answer quietly lives in something called attachment theory, a simple but powerful lens to understand how people connect in love. In this framework, there are a few common styles of attachment: secure, anxious, and avoidant. And while we're all a mix of many things, the men who leave you feeling confused, uncertain, or emotionally off balance often lean toward avoidant attachment. These are men who crave connection but fear it at the same time. They might love the idea of closeness, but when emotions get too deep, they pull away. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because intimacy feels overwhelming, vulnerability feels unsafe. You might recognize this pattern. Things start strong. He's engaged, interested, attentive. Then without warning, he pulls back, gets distant, cold, and you're left wondering, did I say something? Did I move too fast? Did I ruin it? But it was never about you. It was about his comfort with closeness, his capacity to stay emotionally present. And if you're someone with an anxious attachment, someone who seeks reassurance when things feel uncertain, that push-pull dynamic can feel intoxicating, addictive even. Like if you just do things right, you'll finally get that connection back. But here's the truth. Love doesn't live in anxiety. It doesn't grow in confusion. It grows in safety, in slowness, in clarity. And that's where securely attached men come in. They're not magical. They're not perfect. But they've learned through life, through healing, through self-awareness, that connection doesn't have to be a battlefield, that it's okay to feel, to show up, to care without losing yourself. These men won't always know the perfect words, but they won't disappear when things get emotional. They won't punish you with silence. They won't treat you like a threat just because you want closeness. Instead, they'll regulate. Stay calm. They'll be honest even when it's uncomfortable. They'll let you know where they stand. Not because they read it in a book, but because they understand deeply that emotional safety is not a luxury in love. It's a requirement. And that's why clarity is such a strong indicator of real desire. Because men who are secure want you to feel safe. They're not playing a game. They're not feeding on your anxiety to feel powerful. They're simply being who they are, available, grounded, and ready to build something real. So if you've been caught in a cycle of confusion, always chasing the next sign, the next reply, the next high, let this be your gentle reminder. Clarity is not boring. It's beautiful. It's not the absence of excitement. It's the foundation of connection. And it's something secure men offer, not as a prize you have to earn, but as a standard they live by. Because the ones who truly want you to feel safe, seen, and sure. The third and most beautiful sign that a man truly wants you is this: you feel safe to be yourself. Not the curated version of you. Not the cool girl who never gets upset. Not the agreeable version that downplays her needs just to avoid seeming too much. You. All of you. The soft parts. The strong parts. The emotional, intuitive, curious, sometimes messy, sometimes brilliant, always evolving you. When a man truly wants you, you don't feel like you're constantly auditioning for a role in his life. You don't feel like you have to shrink your joy, mute your opinions, or second-guess your truth just to be accepted. You don't walk on emotional eggshells, hoping today isn't the day he finds you too complicated. You don't feel like love is a performance you have to keep rehearsing. Instead, you breathe easier. You speak softer, not out of fear, but out of presence. You feel the tension melt from your shoulders when you're with him because your nervous system finally feels what it's longed for: rest. And in that rest, something sacred happens. You begin to show up more fully. Not because you're trying harder, but because you finally feel safe enough not to try so hard. This kind of safety doesn't come from a perfect partner. It comes from a consistent one. A man who knows you won't always be bright and shiny, who doesn't flinch when you cry, who listens, really listens, even when your words aren't polished. A man who holds space for your contradictions, your strength, and your softness, your independence, and your longing to be held. And here's something few people will say out loud if you've spent years in relationships where you had to perform or protect yourself. Being around someone who accepts you completely can feel uncomfortable at first. You might wait for the other shoe to drop. You might find yourself questioning the ease of it. You might even try to sabotage it just to test if it's real. That's okay. Healing teaches us to love differently, but it also teaches us to receive love differently. And sometimes receiving safe love requires unlearning the belief that love must always feel like tension, like working for approval, like staying small to be chosen. So what does it actually feel like to be your true self with someone? It feels like not having to over-explain why something hurt. He just gets it. Or if he doesn't, he wants to. It feels like sharing your dreams without fear of being dismissed. It feels like admitting your flaws and not watching his affection fade. It feels like laughing too loud, crying too hard, talking too much, and still being wanted. It feels like existing without editing. And when a man truly wants you, he makes room for that. Not just room in his schedule or his apartment, but room in his heart for the woman you really are. Not the one he imagines, not the one he wishes you would become, but the one who's sitting across from him right now with all her truth, all her light, all her layers. He doesn't make you feel like you're a burden to carry. He makes you feel like you're a story worth reading all the way through. Now if you're listening and thinking, but I've never felt that before, I want you to hear this. That doesn't mean it isn't real. It just means you've been loving in environments that couldn't hold your full self. And that isn't your fault. You may have been told directly or indirectly to tone it down, to be more palatable, to smile more, need less, want less, speak less. But you don't have to apologize for being a whole human. You don't have to hide the truth of who you are just to stay in someone's life. Because the love that's meant for you will never ask you to disappear in order to be loved. And the man who truly wants you, he'll want to know you. Not just date you, not just touch your body, not just have your time. He'll want to know the thoughts that keep you up at night, the stories you're still healing from, the things you've never said out loud to anyone. He'll listen. He'll hold it. He'll stay. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. So if you've been bending yourself into versions you don't recognize, trying to earn love through performance, pause. You're allowed to stop performing now. You're allowed to come home to yourself. And the man who truly wants you, he will meet you there. Take a breath, a long, gentle breath. Not the kind you rush through just to get to the next moment, but the kind that invites your body to finally settle. You've just walked through a lot. Memories, realizations, truths you may have known deep down, but needed to hear aloud. And maybe something inside you is stirring right now. Maybe it's sadness, or clarity, or relief. Maybe it's a quiet ache realizing how long you've been carrying love like a weight instead of a place to rest. If so, you're not alone. We've all tried to make sense of someone who kept us confused. We've all tried to earn love through silence, patience, or self-sacrifice. We've all wanted to believe that if we just loved better, tried harder, waited longer, he would choose us fully. But love, real love, doesn't ask you to wait in confusion. It doesn't ask you to abandon yourself for a maybe. So if your heart has been tired lately, always trying to figure out what someone feels, what they want if they see you, let this be your permission to stop. Not to stop loving, but to stop proving. To stop holding your breath around someone who doesn't notice the way your eyes dim when you're unsure. To stop bending yourself into quiet, careful shapes hoping they'll stay. To stop making yourself small just to fit inside someone else's uncertainty. Because you are not here to be guessed about. You are not a puzzle to solve. You are a woman with depth, softness, fire, grace. You are a story worth reading without skipping chapters. You are not too much. You are simply giving to someone who couldn't hold that much love. So if clarity feels painful right now, that's okay. Sometimes it hurts to let go of the hope we built in our own minds. But what's on the other side of that hope is truth. And truth will never keep you guessing. It might break your illusions, but it will rebuild your sense of self. And from that place, wholeness, not hunger, you'll start attracting something different. Someone different. Someone who won't just love the version of you that's easy. Someone who will stay when things get real. Someone who won't let you carry the weight of love alone. So for now, just breathe. Put your hand on your heart if that feels okay, and remind yourself softly, I am allowed to want clarity. I am allowed to be loved without confusion. I am enough even in stillness, especially in stillness. If you're listening to this right now, close your eyes if it feels safe. Let the words find you. Let them soften the spaces where doubt has lived too long. You don't have to do anything except breathe. Just breathe and listen. I am worthy of love that feels safe. I am allowed to want clarity. I do not have to shrink to be loved. My softness is not a weakness. My needs are not too much. I am allowed to be exactly who I am. I release the need to prove my worth to anyone. I am enough even in my quietest moments. I trust that the right connection will not confuse me. I trust that real love will feel peaceful. I am not here to be a question mark in someone else's story. I am here to be a full sentence, complete, certain, whole. I forgive myself for the times I accepted less than I deserved. I honor the part of me that kept hoping even when it hurt. I am choosing a new story now, a story where I am loved without conditions, a story where my heart feels safe, a story where I am no longer waiting to be chosen because I already choose myself. Take another slow breath. Let these words settle into your body like a soft blanket around your heart. You are not too much. You are exactly enough, exactly as you are, exactly as you have always been. And you deserve a love that never makes you wonder if you are worthy of it. If you've made it this far, I want you to know your heart is extraordinary. Not because it's been perfect, but because it stayed open, even after the confusion, even after the silence, even after giving to someone who wasn't ready to receive. That takes strength, that takes courage, that takes soul. And maybe you've realized something tonight. Maybe you've seen your past more clearly. Maybe you've noticed a pattern you're ready to break. Or maybe for the first time you felt seen in a way you didn't expect. If so, let that be enough. Healing doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's just a soft, oh, deep in your chest. A moment of understanding, a shift, a beginning. You don't need to text him. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to rush to fix or explain. You just need to come back to yourself, to the version of you that knows what peace feels like, to the part of you that has always whispered, it's not supposed to feel this confusing. Because love isn't supposed to be a guessing game. It's not supposed to make you anxious. It's not supposed to feel like you're constantly walking towards someone who never quite turns around. Real love. The kind that nourishes, that stays, that heals. It walks beside you. It meets you in the middle. It listens when you speak, and listens even closer when you go quiet. It doesn't punish your emotions. It doesn't disappear when you ask for more. And it never ever makes you feel like you have to earn your place. So if no one's told you lately, you're not too sensitive. You're not imagining things. You're not asking for too much. You're asking for something real, something clear, something steady. And the man who is meant for you, truly meant for you, will not be intimidated by that. He will honor it. Until then, stay soft, stay open, but above all, stay close to yourself. Because the most beautiful love you'll ever experience is the one that begins with you. Good night, my dear, and thank you for letting me speak to your heart.